All right, guys, your boy Top Drop, Top with a T, aka Mr. Slay Them Things. Since there's no such thing as scales and tails with Top Drop, I'm gonna make up my own, guys. We about to get it in. Big shout out to Scales and Tails. I love what they do over there. It's your boy Top Drop. We about to go and see what my journey is. I need y'all want to see what my journey's about. How I transitioned from this guy. This is not a flex, guys. This is just an addiction problem. To this guy. Oh, guys, this is from a transition, guys. The addiction is real. That's from going from conventional to big swim baits, guys. Guys, I'm caught up in it. This is my 2-year journey, I want to say. I want to say 2, maybe 3 years, 2.5, where I got caught up in this. By all means, guys, like I said, it's not a flex on any, by any means. It's just I want to share my journey on how I transition around to the smaller conventional rods, spinning reels, fairy sticks, whatever you want to call them, to these big jokers where you get stared at the lake when they see you pull up and throw something like this out. And they say, what the hell you gonna catch with that, Top Drop? What, you fishing for marlin, Bubba? Nah, sir. We fishing for trophy bass. It gets you caught up in the game, guys, but we're gonna talk about that on how I transition. I figure we do this because of the fact my lake's frozen. Top Drop I can't fish, so guess what? We're gonna chop it up with me and talk about it. Guys, it all started a long time ago where I finally decided to join Swimbait Universe. I heard about the group, guys that got in there. It was one of the best groups I came across on Facebook. Of course, I have my own group. No, I ain't trying to plug it, but Bass Lives Matter LLC, we always been all about fishing and stop the hate pickup bait all day long. So I wanted to get involved in it, man. I dipped my toes in. Top Drop dipped them little boots in. And then I went in full head first, guys. First lure that actually got me caught up, guys. You would not guess the first lure that I actually caught my fish on. First lure I caught my fish on, big swim bait fishing, was actually a throwback weight walker. You'd have never thought. I got that bite and that was it. The first glide bait fish that got me really caught up in more of the glide style fishing was actually a KGB Chad. And that's when I went full blown. I'm curious on what was your first bait that got you really addicted, it's on? And then what kind of carried on from there, guys. But we're gonna look at some of the things, how I organize my tackle, the rods I pick. I mean, it's a full rundown, guys, of 2025. The things I like, the new things that I'm gonna get into, and so on. We're gonna start it off here, just on rods itself. Actually, we're gonna start over here. We're gonna start on lures. Organization is key, guys. That's one of the key things in any tackle game, as you can see. I'm a very organized guy. I use Plano Edge. I want to say 3700s. The bigger style ones are the ones that I use to store all my tackle, especially my higher end gear, my swim bait tackle for the most part. Some of them will actually have, some of them I actually use the plastic. I have so many of them, they wouldn't even fit in the standard Plano box. But I still throw some, guess those dry bags, whatever you call them, little beads that suck the moisture out and so on. But check that out, guys. That's important. Always stay organized. I mean, down to hooks, guys. I have a specific box for hooks. That's one thing you want to look at. Just lures in general, guys. Here are some of my favorites, and then some of, I guess, ones that I'm still dipping my toes in. So some of my favorites, guys. We're gonna start. I'm not even gonna say some of my favorites. We're gonna go big to small, but these are some of my favorites that's listed on this table. Some are not, but we're gonna go big to small. My absolute big giant. That's my favorite out of my giants. That's my pounder. I love tossing this around. It's gonna get a big fish, giant fish bite eventually. I have pulled a lot of fish up. With these bigger glides like this, it's all drawing power, man. So sometimes I'll use this as a search tool just to see if I'm around any fish. Old Pamela Lockett's can be always telling you where the fish be. So sometimes you need to just throw a giant bait out there and just see what happens, bro. This is by far my favorite big bait that's not as big as that pounder, and that's a KGB King. Actually, guys, I'm gonna talk about the people I met along the way with this too, in conjunction with what I'm using. Some of my painters, it's my A1 day one. It's the first person I ever got a lure painted by. was Krista. Krista the paint whipper, keep my little extra dripper. That's Colorado Custom Lures, guys. She painted this king in a beautiful, like, gizzardy style color. I love it. But that's been my A1 day one painter, guys, from day one. Also lures like this. This is my favorite gizzard style lure. So the Phony Frogs USA, Jason St. Mary does an amazing job. It's one of my favorite ones. I know I have other flavors in there. I know people saw some up sale, but it's because I have so many, guys, and I need to just narrow down your tackle. That's one of the things you're gonna learn along the way. You might start narrowing things down to kind of to your strengths and so on. That might be one of the things some of the things you actually have to do to start catching more fish is just kind of concentrate on certain lures that are your strengths and so on. This one, the KGB trout, this is one that kind of caught me like by surprise, because at first I didn't like it. Now I love it, and it was all on me because I had to learn how to fish it. A lot of these things, guys, with swim bait fishing, one of your most important things, I used to think it sounded so cheesy when they say this, was learn the lure. Stop buying a bunch of stuff and learn the lure. That is 100% correct. None of these lures swim the same. You know, none of them suspend the same. None of them act the same. None of them can have, certain gear ratios work with certain lures. That's why I'm giving you a breakdown on what it's come down to and how I learned on the way, so you guys don't make some of the mistakes I have and you just dive right in on swim bait fishing the right way, or a way you might not have thought of. Not everybody's way is the right way, but I'm gonna tell you what I learned on my journey. So, but yeah, definitely, that's one that I had to get used to, and we'll come back and circle back around with gear ratios on that too. This is my other one. This is my favorite, as far as like that 9-inch bait, so on. That's a KGB Reborn. Guys, at first I was all about the TSG. Yeah, you know me. You know how I used to say it, guys. But I'll give the plug to Kenny, old Crappy Curls. He was the first one to say something about a Reborn. He told me about it, and I was like, I like my TSGs. I'm not really on that quote unquote hype train. Let's put some rabbit ears up. It's not hype, guys. That thing is the best, one of the best glide baits ever, in my opinion. That's actually the Top Drop T-Rock. Love that color that was painted by Krista. The paint whipper, keep my little extra dripper for that muddy water conditions, guys. Let's move on to some of the quote unquote, some people call them hype baits. I call them get hype baits, but these are ones that I learned along the way. Just because you go out and pop pockets and spend the money on, you still have to learn how to fish them, guys. But this is another one of my faves, man. I love this lure. This is an S2 by Piz. I like it on a slower gear ratio. We'll circle back around on gear ratios, but that's one of my favorites also. Definitely not a hype bait. It is a get hype bait, guys. It does catch fish. I love the way it moves. It's situational though, man. Certain situations I might use this, but then certain situations I might use this. It's just like that. That's why you have to have an array of different techniques and lures to kind of like, cover all the water conditions. Like this here, I would have never thought. Cool guy. So Trashy. That's Trashy swim baits. That's in a 7-inch. That's my new favorite 7-inch style bait. Love the way this glides. And I just got out of the smaller bait thing. I am a big bait guy, guys. I typically like bigger baits, but lately these been my heart for the smaller profiles. And this is new, man. This is this year where I just kind of started getting used to these baits, knowing what ride, line, so on to throw it on. Cranking down, guys. My favorite crank by far are these two here. And then that's a runt painted by Krista, the paint whipper, of course, same, painted by Krista. This is a runt by Piz. I love this. My favorite way of using this is around wood cover. I know cover fishing itself, great. Always target cover, but for some reason, that's been my strength with this. Not in open water, not in grass situation, but round freaking wood cover. That's been it. My open water situation and / wood cover has been this. So that's been a Lanciotti PG. That guy makes an amazing lure. You can wake this, but I'm more on other style wakes over here that are becoming my favorites. That I love to just crank, but I will wake. It is a deadly wake. I have caught fish waking it. This one, I'm getting kind of new with this. This is a LFOD in its bluegill pattern. When I say straight wake, Bubba, she straight wakes. She'll crank underneath the surface just slightly, but that's one of the ones that This year will be my tester on that. This year will also be my tester on this. And that's my Piz mode wake right here. So that's my bigger style wake. That's my smaller style wake. And then, I mean, you got things like this. This is a 3-piece. You can wake this. You can crank this. That's also been a go-to. Of course, rat fishing. I'm just going down my lures, man. This was painted by Trip Drip. Rooster Cogburn hooked me up on that, guys. Awesome paint job. It looks identical to a rat because Rooster touched that. You know how we roll. This is one of the things I'm trying to get. This is me stepping out. Sensei hooked me up. My main man, Sensei, hooked me up on that. That is a more of the crawler style baits. But I love this lure because I'm a frog guy at heart, man. I love frog fishing. And being that he made a crawler in that style, I love tossing it. I just got started tossing. I was late in the season with this because I got this late. So that's one of the things I want to look at eventually, you know, getting used to down the line.